My husband and I were wondering if Mr. Hirsch and Mr. Kronfeld plan to be full-time judges and forego outside income if elected. And Karen, I would like you to address that in your way as well. And we are starting with Andrew or Andy first.
Yeah. I've been very successful in business. I have barely anything to do. That's how I've, come up with the time to do this and to think about it and to, take that magisterial district court course only 19 days. But, I'd like to, in response to Judge Zucker's point that only a judge can do the work of a judge, I would like to point out 6 things that only she and we'll do this later if anyone's interested, 6 things that only she and I know that magisterial district judges need to know to function. And we can test all the lawyers in the audience. They'll only have bits and pieces of this if they're interested to know what those things are, including Mr. Hirsch. But that doesn't disqualify him from being a judge.
Okay, Joe, would you like to take the question on?
Sure. So to be very candid with you, this is the one type of judge in Pennsylvania where the rules permit, the rules as established by the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania permit the judge to maintain some small practice. There is no possibility that I could continue to do the practice that I do now. I would not be able as a judge to try cases and to carry on the busy practice that I have. But to the extent that I have a client where there is no conflict with my judicial duties and there's no potential conflict of interest, if a client wants to consult with me after court hours, I see no reason why that should be that should not be allowed. And in fact, the rules do allow it. Fortunately, in this particular court, the caseload is 20% below the county average, and 48% of the time, there is no court session scheduled for the afternoon. So under those circumstances, I'd like to see that time mostly used for embetterment of the community. But to suggest that, this is a job that Judge Zucker is, truly occupied trying cases full time, I think is a little bit of a stretch. Thank you.
Karen, can you speak to the question?
Yeah, frankly, listening to both of my opponents just, to me, illuminates the fact that they have no fundamental understanding at all of what occurs in district courts and what district judges do. Let me say the idea that my court is 20% below the county average. I don't know where Joe is getting his statistics, but I have one of the highest caseloads. I'm among the percentage of highest caseloads in the state, not just in the county. For many years, I had the 3rd and 4th highest criminal dockets in the county. So that's just a ludicrous statement. There is so much that is required of a district judge, and a lot of it extends beyond the courtroom. Of course, you're in the courtroom, you're hearing you're hearing cases, but then you are doing a myriad you're taking care of a myriad of types of business related to those cases. My court has heard in excess of 6,000 cases every year that I've been on the bench. 17 times 6, you all do the math. It'll give you some idea. We're talking in the hundreds of thousands of cases. We have administrative responsibilities that have to be implemented and monitored relating to those 6,000 cases. I am researching case law and various case authorities, and sometimes parties hand in briefs in order to render my decisions. I am managing a court staff of 5 to 6 people at any given time. I am the vice chair of the Minor Judiciary Education Board. I was appointed by the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, and that the MJEB is tasked with educating over 550 district judges around the state. So we develop the curriculum and we implement continuing judicial education for those judges. And we also design and implement the certification class and the exam that Mr. Kronfeld was required to take as a non-lawyer. When I am not doing all of those things, I am speaking in the schools. I've been in the elementary schools. I've spoken to every 10th grader at Lower Merion High School for years about risky behaviors. I've spoken to children at Torah Academy, at Barak Academy. I am involved in civics education with the Montgomery Bar Association. I'm on the steering committee of the Advancing Civic Education Initiative of the Philadelphia Bar Association. Everything that I am doing is part and parcel of my work as a judge to administer justice, to improve the level of our bench. So it's
We'll
kind
have
of
to fall time there, Karen. Okay,